Juno and I woke up around the same time the next morning. Pixie woke us up just before dawn so that we could pack and prepare for departure. The weather was surprisingly benign. No wind, just snowflakes swirling in the air, slowly sinking into the ground in a dance. When all the necessary preparations were complete, we went outside. The villagers were waking up, and a few villagers and their children came to the north exit of the village to watch our departure. We went outside to wait for Lance. In the back of my mind, I still hoped he wouldn't come, or at least come to say goodbye, but at the time, I knew I would be happy with whatever choice he made. Finally, we saw Lance's entire family, led by him, heading toward the jet. He was carrying a small bag of stuff in his back. Oh, yeah, he's joining. He's coming to our adventure. And he was carrying Yuki, who immediately waved to Juno and me with a big smile on her face. We waved back. Lance stopped in front of us, his family a few steps behind. I looked at Lance, seeing from his face that he'd been up all night thinking. So, ready to make a choice? Doggo, can we have a chat in private? While you two talk, I'll spend some time with the kids. We move away from everyone, behind a big tree, and Lance blurts out, I don't know what to do anymore, Doggo. I don't. I can't make this choice. The more I think about it, the harder it gets. I could see that he was about to cry, but he resisted and tried to talk as calmly as he could. My mom said that she would accept my choice, but it made it even harder. I want to fly away, but I can't. I love them so much, but my dream. What should I do, Doggo? I can't make this choice myself. I need your advice. Are you sure you need it? You should listen to your heart. Our heart can't make this decision either. I thought this entire night and I still don't know what to do. Lance looked at me with his wet eyes, hoping for a clear answer. Even though I tried to convince him yesterday, now I wasn't so sure. Lance seemed to understand the downside of each choice, but couldn't make the choice himself. So whatever I say now would change his life forever. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Really? Oh wait, it said something about the choice won't affect anything from now on. It will be very important in the future. Oh, so okay, there's a lot of downside. Okay, this is very important. This is very important. We can make him join us. We already saw him from the third game that he is in the ship, but I'm assuming this is safe progression to the third game. It's either that or we pick him up later within the story. Ooh, okay. If I was me, I would encourage him to stay with his family. If my family died, if my whole entire species has died, I would encourage him to stay with his family. Because he has a lot of younger siblings. They would be dependent on the brother that's going to turn 15. But at the same time, though, we can go YOLO, leave his family behind, follow his dreams, and we could probably visit them, like, maybe a few times. We don't know. Oh my god. Oh, we can encourage him to fly away, follow his dreams, or encourage him to save his family. At this point, if we encourage him to fly, here's the pros. I'm assuming they're pros. We get more help, we get more people on our ship, we get a crew, basically, which is more help. He's an animal, so Juno can train him to practically be like Juno, have the same strength, same speed, and same combat abilities, which is good for protecting Juno and I. That's the only pros I can think of. The only cons is that he will miss his family a lot, and I'm assuming he will go into a deep depression and probably kill himself. That's an option. Another option is to stay with his family, and he'll still be sad, but I think he'll be grateful that he stayed with his family. Oh my god. YOLO. Screw it. I took a deep breath and rested my hand on Lance's shoulder. Screw your family. They're useless. Join us. Join the cool kids. Come with us. You can eat good foods, bro. It's possible you might get another chance to see your family in the future. You might regret it not taking this opportunity. Though you'd be leaving your family behind. It seems like they are ready for that. You said yourself that your brother would take your position. If your dream is really that important to you, then this choice should be obvious. Lance tried to wipe away his tears, then made a deep breath and said, Thanks, Doggo. This talk really helped. You can go back to doing what you were doing. I need a minute or two to think about everything. Alright, we'll be ready. I came back to everyone. Juno nodded as soon as she saw me, then continued talking with Lance's siblings. Lance soon came by. Yuki immediately jumped on and hugged him. His mother asked him in a nervous voice, So honey, did you make up your mind? Yes. Lance set Yuki down in the snow and turned to his family. His mother Wei knew from the look in her eyes that he was about to leave, and immediately burst into sobs. Yuri, the second oldest, was sitting aside, frowning and crossing his arms over his chest. Shali and Yuki began to cry after their mother. I'm sorry about this, but This could be my last chance. Last chance to make my dreams come true. I can't give it up. I can't let this chance go. No one answered him. Everyone just stayed silent and cried. Lance sighed, realizing that no one was ready to accept his choice. Still, he wasn't ready to give up, and that determination was worthy of respect. Yuki, Lance, don't go, please, stay with us. Yuki sobbed the loudest, clinging to Lance's legs. It was heartbreaking, and I felt tears welling up in my eyes. Lance hugged Yuki back, pulling her tightly against him. Don't cry, little one. Everything will be alright. I promise that every 3 days on Idis, when the crowds part, I'll wave you from the stars. And you'll wave back, okay? Yuki and Shelly nodded, only sobbing harder. Lance looked at Yari, and who is now designed to be the eldest and Gargo the third son of the family. Yar. I think it's Yar. I think it is Yar. Promise me you'll look after them, okay? Promise me you'll take care of them. Yar, all this time standing a little to the side of his arms crossed over his chest, his extremely angry expression on his face cast a sullen look at this Lance. Don't worry, I'll take much better care of them than you did. I'll stay with the family and take care of the ones I care about. And you go wherever you're going. And don't even think about coming back. Yar turned around, stomping away angrily. Ray, watching her children fight, only cried harder. Yar, please come back. Say goodbye to your brother. You won't see him again. And thank the spirits that I won't. There was genuine anger in Yar's voice. He walked away, disappearing behind the snowdrifts of the houses of the village. It's K Mom. He has the right to be angry. I just hope that one day he can forgive me. And all you can forgive me one day. But I can't give up who I am. Don't belong here. My place is somewhere in space, and I want to find it. Mom. Ray, still crying, hugged Lance tightly, pulling him against her chest. I will pray to the spirits so that everything goes well for you, my son. Thank you. You would never regret this choice to find happiness, even if it's not with us. I will always remember you, my boy. Lance, unable to contain himself, cried into his mother's shoulder. I promise that if I can, I will return one day to visit you again. And I'll definitely never forget you, Mom. Juno and I stepped back a little, giving them one last hug. I discreetly brushed away a few tears that ran down my face. Yuki, Shally, listen to your mother and Yara, okay? Gargo, don't fight with Yari over nothing. Help him as much as you can. Gargo nodded, wrapping his arms around Lance and snuggling his face into his chest. Finally, Lance pulled back, breaking the embrace, and took a step into our jet. I love you, and he will always love you no matter what. Sorry for being selfish. Ray picked up Yuki, who continued to sob into her arms. Shally and Gargo waved goodbye to their brother. Really? Ready, Lance? I put my hand on his shoulder. Lance nodded, and we headed for the jet. The doors of the jet closed, and Juno gave Pixie the command to go up to the ship. We sailed slowly through the air, leaving Lance villages in the distance, leaving the planet and all its inhabitants behind. Nothing more than a speck in the distance. Once we were on the ship, Lance didn't say a word. Juno and I could see how hard it was for him, so we tried not to question him or bore him with our concern and sincere desire to cheer him up. Lance had been on the ship before, so we gave him another short tour, showed him his room, which had already slept in, and asked if he needed anything. Lance shook his head. He was obviously having too much trouble leaving his family and making his own choices. I knew in my heart that our words could do nothing to help him. I knew that nothing, no words of encouragement, could take away the guilt he felt. Words were unnecessary, and one could only hope that Lance would be able to deal with all this, because otherwise his future would be filled with nothing but long-going regret. I was sure that he would find his happiness, even if it's not here, on his home planet, but somewhere out there far and deep in space. Lance stayed in his room while Juno and I went to the ship's side to plot our next move. Before heading to the next planet, we had checked in with Pixie's research on the device observation and dropped Lance off somewhere safe. To ensure his safety, we decided to drop him off the next station that crossed our path, and thankfully there happened to be one on the way our next destination. Do you think he'll recover? Juno and I sat in silence, staring into the black space before us. Oh, he left? Oh, we were just gonna drop him off? I thought he was joining us, like an actual crewmate. Then I would encourage him to stay home. Then there's no point. No, he's gonna die out there. He's gonna die. We're gonna discover his body in the next game. He's gonna die. Juno and I sat in silence, staring out in the black space before us. Wiley was far behind us, growing smaller and smaller by the minute. We have saved this planet, but the battle was not over. It was only just the beginning. Though important, this was still only a small victory in the grand scheme of things. I felt no joy or relief, no matter how big of the deal this was for Wiley. Somehow, I felt a renewed desire to keep going. A desire to take down what had plagued the galaxy. A desire to avenge my home. That's why we didn't want to keep Lance for long on our ship. We'd risk not only our lives, but his life as well. I hope so. Lance was Well, Lance had no other choice. I want to believe that his family would be okay. I hope they can accept his choice and forgive him. Juno nodded and smiled weakly at me. Even though you helped him take the step, Lance made his choice. It's his decision. Intelligent beings always have to make choices and live with its consequences. I guess you're right. Juno sighed and smiled softly at me. Let's go get some rest. After everything that's happened, we definitely need a few days to relax. I shook my head. No, we can't stop. This is just a small victory. We can only move forward. There's no time to waste now. A sad expression appeared on Juno's helmet, but she didn't say anything back, nor did she argue with me. I guess you're right as well. I'll go in the lab and see what Pixie discovered while we're busy. I nodded, staying in my chair by the ship's navigation panel. I wanted to follow Juno, but I knew there was no point. We have no help to help her anyway. Juno disappeared in the lab, which left me alone, facing the tiny blips of bright light amidst the dark, endless reaches of space through the ship's window. During the few days we spent on the ship, Lance more and less got used to the new reality. He even seemed to become a little more cheerful. He would come out to talk often, have meals with us, and actively absorb all the knowledge that Juno had managed to share with him in the short time he was with us. It was hard to accept his leave. We both realized that we couldn't keep him safe from all the dangers and problems we would face. Giving him some gear, we dropped him off the nearest intergalactical station. We said our goodbyes in some teary-eyed parting words, and then he left us. We also gave him our contact information in case he needed our help someday. What? Oh my god, dude, I would have told him to stay with his family then. Oh, that's so dumb. Whatever. And now it was just two of us, our thoughts fully devoted for our mission again. The farther we flew into space, the more I felt like something dark festered in my soul. It seemed that all our victories, all our achievements, amounted to nothing. Just a few days, the risky Wyler in the 01221M had been overshadowed by the immense responsibility we shouldered. I was overwhelmed by a growing emptiness in my heart. I tried to forget those things again by spending hours in the gym, but I felt like I was doing nothing. How could such training help our mission? I could never match Juno's strength. Next to her, I felt like I was weak, even afraid that I couldn't do anything to help Juno. That's where we got Lance, so it could be a second helper. The realization filled me with sadness, anger, and anxiety. But after several days on the road, Juno finally flashed analysis data and called me to the lab. She again looked extremely tired. Oh, even her visor showed that. But I couldn't ask about it. She just started a conversation quickly. Remember how I told you that these devices from Wyler were different from the ones we collected at 01221M? I sat down in the chair next to Juno and nodded. Yes, I remember. Did you find what the difference was? Not exactly. Or rather, I was only partially right. These devices are essentially identical, and they work differently. What do you mean? I thought you said they were the same. Yes, but these crystals, which are the main components of those devices, are very complex elements. As far as I can tell, they analyze the external environments and then adjust the virus to match. My hypothesis is that by analyzing the environment, they are adjusting the virus. I found something similar in 01221M devices. They also contain the virus, but it's not represented in the samples of the planet. But it means that the devices didn't use it. But why? I mean, there were a lot of animals there. Exactly. And instead of infecting them, the virus and spreading it around the planet, the devices to suck the energy out of everything living around them. And then, if we had to shut them down and taking them away, they would have simply destroyed the planet, just like the others. How does the device know when to apply the virus when not to? I think the whole planet is there was no intelligent life on 01221M, but on Wyler there was. How do the devices know this? Like I said, they're analyzing the environment. I think whoever put them there knew that the planet was inhabited by intelligent species. I think both scenarios, with and without the virus, are programmed into the device. But analyzing the planets, these devices chase the right scenario and roll with it. I listened carefully at Juno's statement, trying to discuss and think about it through. But why wouldn't 01221M be affected with the virus as well? What difference does it make if it has intelligent species on it or not? The virus kills all living things anyway, right? I'm not sure yet, but I think it's a lot of energy to rewrite and activate the virus scenario. These devices are very complex, so I think they take a lot of effort to be produced. In order to guarantee their safety, whoever created them tried to minimize the risk by sacrificing some energy. If the planet is inhabited by intelligent beings, they quickly discovered those devices and disabled them with some effort, by using rage weapons or something similar. And the virus removes this possibility, as there is too much chaos on the planet after the virus is applied. If the planet is only inhabited by animals, then there is very little chance they could do anything to the devices while apportioned directly. So it's all about the energy, right? And it doesn't matter at all what planet it is. Yes, the more energy devices absorb, the faster they destroy the planet. But why would the devices absorb the energy so fast in the first place? Where does it go afterwards? Heavy sigh. That's the thing, I don't know yet. No matter how hard I try to work with the crystals, there's no recorded address in them. There's almost no information. But I'm sure it doesn't disappear or disintegrate with the planet. It's either collected by someone or the energy is redirected somewhere. Why would the person behind it fly away from planets he destroys if he needs that energy? Wouldn't it be smarter and faster just to stay in orbit at a safe distance until the energy is collected? Juno nodded. I think there's something we might have missed. Anyway, whoever is behind these is definitely not some ordinary person. He's using some very advanced technology that is beyond the reach of most scientists in the universe. I can't fully understand these devices myself. If that someone has that level of technology, could we ever defeat him? He'd have to be so strong that even if we came face to face with them, we'd be helpless. Well, at least I would be. Juno still had a chance. She was a Protogen, but me? I had to brush those thoughts away. They wouldn't do any good right now. What are we going to do? Thanks to the connection between the devices, I found another planet. We need to form the virus hypothesis. This next planet is uninhabitable. It is on the edge of the galaxy, orbiting a red dwarf star. If my calculations are correct, the connection between the devices are to be believed the devices were placed there only yesterday. Do you think there could be a virus there? What's the point of checking if we already know it couldn't be inhabited planets? We don't know that's for sure. It's just something I assumed. The absence of the virus could be just a coincidence. Devices work automatically. I say that with certain. Whoever installs them cannot influence them from the outside. They are pre-programmed for certain scenarios. And you want to go to this inhabited planet to observe the devices again? There was skepticism in my voice. Yes, I want to confirm hypothesis. Besides, it's necessary in order to make future calculations. If the virus is really only an inhabitable planet, we can look at the rest of the inhabitable planets in the galaxy in advance and prepare vaccines for them, based on the vaccines on the planet in Weiler. Like I said, the virus is the same everywhere, with a few exceptions. The difference is less than 5%. I sighed, realizing we had one more step to make. Okay, if you say so, we'll do it. Here, I marked the point on your map. Juno pointed a monitor that showed the map of the galaxy. It's a planet with a pretty harsh climate. It's dry, there's almost no water, but there's most of its current amount of organic life with planets. But the oxygen level is very low here. There. You have to wear the helmet and suit again. Sigh. Alright. Are you going to sleep now? You look bad. I think you're overworked too much. You're right. It's time to have some rest. These last couple of days were awful. Feels like my head is going to explode. Juno didn't wait for me to say anything and went straight to the sleeping compartment. We spent the next few days traveling again. The planet Juno was talking about was called SR00845, and it was rarely visited by intelligent beings. As we approached SR00845, it was relatively small, especially when compared to Weiler. It became apparent from orbit. The planet emitted a faint yellowish glow. Descending to the jet, we observed clouds in the atmosphere shimmering with purple and red hues. Before we set foot on the planet, Juno equipped me with a special suit designed for breathing and protection against the hostile environmental conditions. The landscape that greeted us was reminiscent of a lifeless desert. The ground was blanketed in dirty yellow sand, covering most of SR surface. When the wind stirred, it whipped sand into the air, reminiscent of snow back of Weiler. Without the protection of the hazmat suits, the harsh conditions would have been unbearable within minutes. The hostile environment wasn't due to lack of oxygen. Periodically, sandstorms rose menacingly, at times near obscuring our entire view. Juno and I navigated using our locator, moving towards the first waypoint, as was our routine. She led the way, with the trailing behind, periodically serving the bearing expenses of the planet. Above us, the sky was cloaked in heavy gray clouds. The light from the red dwarf star SR00845 sun struggled to penetrate the atmosphere veil, casting a feeble yellowish light on its desolate world. How long do we have to search? Don't worry, it won't be long. The planet's pretty small. And why would this someone waste his time on this planet? It's even smaller than mine. Does it even have much energy? It's the size of a planet that's almost irrelevant when it comes to energy. Sure, there'd be far less energy from smaller planets, but still a lot. What do you think this creature, whoever he is, could be she, you never know, is going to do with this energy? Juno shrugged. I don't know, but I doubt he needs it for anything good. Could be some space organization behind this. I remember you told me about the civilizations that use other planets as power source. Maybe whoever is doing this is actually an entire civilization? Juno shrugged. I don't know, we can't say for sure, but if it was a civilization, the Intergalactical Alliance will soon find out about it. They control everything that happens in this part of the universe. Even though the universe is big, this kind of activity would be entirely civilization would not go unnoticed. Why don't we go ask the Intergalactical Alliance for help? It sounds like they wouldn't mind finding out what kind of stuff is going on here. Juno grinned and shook her head at my question. All the planets that exist here are too young, too underdeveloped. Although they said that they might protect such new galaxies, they don't actually care, unless there are at least some valuable resources here. I mean, I wouldn't blame them, to be honest. Until the consequences directly impact them, they remain indifferent. I sighed, angry at the harsh truth. Yeah, I guess it's really easier for them that way. Locals are lucky that you and I decided to take on this case. I doubt that anyone would notice a small galaxy being reduced to rubble in a lifeless wasteland. You and I continued our journey in silence. I couldn't wait to get rid of the devices on this planet and move on, but Juno didn't seem to be in any hurry. She was walking calmly to the locator single without increasing her stride, and this annoyed me with every new minute. Finally, she stopped altogether, lowering the indicator and freezing at some strange, ugly, intricate cactus growing out of the dense sand. Well, look at that! I don't think a planet this big could have grown on this planet already. I cast an indifferent glance at the cactus, or whatever it was. Why does it matter? Come on, we still got more devices to disable. What do you mean? The last time someone visited this planet could have been hundreds of years ago, even thousands. Look at his beauty. We need to take a sample and enter it into the database. Hold on. It shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. 10 minutes? Juno, are you kidding me? What's the matter? I just want to see what it is. It's important for research. It's not important for a mission. Come on. We're already wasting time being on this planet. It's a goddamn piece of rock. There's nothing here at all. Juno's helmet reflected a frown. What do you mean there's nothing? Look, there are a lot of things. There are a lot of organic life here. There are insects and plants. And they will disappear if we don't turn off those damn devices. Let's go. I grabbed Juno's arm, wanting to drag her forward, but she stood her ground like a stubborn animal. We're not wasting time, Doggo. We haven't done anything but focus on the mission for the past 2 years. Can I at least spend 10 minutes taking samples to study this planet? Oh, I know what 10 minutes means to you. You see some pebble that doesn't blend in somehow, then a bug, and on it goes. We have a mission to complete, and we should be devoting all of our time to it, not doing whatever this nonsense is. Juno frowned. Nonsense? It's what I've been doing all my life, Doggo. It's not nonsense. But Juno didn't let me finish, literally exploding with anger next moment. Mission, I know. It's all about you talk about, Doggo. That's all you're interested in. Mission. It's all I've been hearing from you for the past few months. Do you remember the last time we talked to each other? Not about devices, not about an anomaly, just for fun? When was the last time you and I spent together in a normal way? You're always either training, and as soon as I suggest you relax and spend time together, you turn the whole conversation back to the mission. I spent 3 months trying to convince you to try the VR helmet and play some games with me. I can't do this anymore. My head's about to explode. I stared at June with an angry, indignant look. What are you even talking about? What do you mean spending time together? We are together all the time, and the mission is our priority right now. Nothing is important than that. We have already wasted tons of time. All we do is fall behind. That kind of rhymed. We're always one step behind, Juno, no matter what we do. Doesn't mean we should live by the mission alone. 10 minutes won't change anything. I just want to get it over with. Of course, how would you know what it feels like to lose your family and planet? You don't have a family, and your planet wasn't torn into hundreds of pieces that are now floating somewhere in space. You don't know what it feels like. Juno was silent, staring at me, and started to look. I shrugged to catch my breath, feeling the guilt of what I said beginning to rip into my chest. The anger that was building in me kept that guilt from developing, blocking it out, preventing me from stopping the fight. Are you saying it means nothing to me? I'm trying to do my best to complete the mission, Doggo. I'm trying. But you're always dissatisfied. My efforts are never enough for you. Why are you like this? I'm beginning to think you don't care about me anymore. Oh, every time I ask you how you're doing, every time I want to talk to you, you just brush it off. It's like you're always mad at me for something, but I can't figure out why. What did I do, Doggo? Can you just spit it out already? What did I do to deserve to be treated like this? Oh, she's full blown crying. I tried. I tried every time, and you just don't see it. Don't talk like that. I realize you're trying. I'm very grateful for what you're doing, but it has nothing to do with that at all. I can see that you're angry, but I don't know why. I don't know why you're so distant and cold now. I can see that something's eating you from the inside, but you never talk about it. And I don't understand why you won't tell me about it. Nothing's eating me up. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to yourself. I start pacing back and forth like a caged animal, feeling the rage bubbling up in my chest, rising to my throat in an endless steam. Do you want to know what's wrong? Do you? Everything is wrong. Have you ever felt completely useless? Felt like that you were weak? That there was nothing you could do to protect those you cared about? I feel it every day. Every night I see dreams about my home, my family being wiped off the face of the universe, and there's nothing I can do about it. No matter how hard I try, no matter how much I train, I would never come close to your strength. I would never be as smart and all-knowing as you. You always do everything. You are behind all of our victories and achievements. I kicked at the sand beneath my feet, wanted some way to release the rage that burned so strong, so violently bright in every cell of my body. I knew it wasn't Juno's fault. I knew I was being an idiot, an ungrateful bastard. But it was impossible to stop the flow of all the negative emotions that were building up inside me. I envy you because for me, it's a struggle every day. Every day it's trying to reach the stars, trying to set new goals, trying to do something, but I can't. Trying to do something, but I can't. I am helpless compared to you, Juno. I do nothing but follow you around like a little kid. I wish I had the same strength, the same intelligence, but I don't have that because I'm not a Protogen. I'm a weak human, that's all. And you have that power. You can do everything, and you're wasting your time on this damn cactus. If your planet was destroyed, if your family was killed, you wouldn't act like this. When I finally stopped talking out of breath, Juno looked at me with an expression on her helmet that made me want to punch myself as hard as I could. You have no idea what my life on my planet was like, Doggo. You have no idea what it was like. There was nothing to envy there. Of course I have no idea. You never told me anything. You keep everything away from me. How am I supposed to know that your childhood was like, Juno? Maybe I'm not important enough for you to let me in your secret, fine. If you don't want me to share it, then don't. That's not true. Don't say that. Don't ever say that. Juno's voice trembled, soaring upward and falling back down again. I knew from the expression of her helmet and the breaking, trembling voice that she was crying. You're the most important thing in my life. You're more valuable than anyone. Just because I don't talk about my past doesn't mean I don't trust you. I just don't want you to bring it up, that's all. You say I don't understand how you feel, but maybe I do. I didn't have a place on my planet. I didn't have family like you. I only had Xena, but that didn't mean anything. Wait, I only had Xena, but that doesn't. I only had Xena, but that doesn't mean I want to defeat the anomaly. It doesn't mean I think our mission's unimportant. Don't envy me, Doggo, because you don't know what it's like to be me. I've always been an outcast on my planet. The Protogens wanted nothing to do with me. Believe me, Doggo, you don't know what it's like. You've been nurtured, cherished your whole life. You were the chosen one in their eyes, and I was just a nobody. I had no one to support me. I get off the planet as fast as I could, and I wish I'd never gone back there again. How was I supposed to know that? Why didn't you ever tell me? Because I wanted to keep it to myself. Why do you think you're the only one who's right, Doggo? You're the only one who always knows what's best, both with Lance and with the mission. No one is obligated to feel the same way you do, and I have the right to not make the mission top priority in my life. What does this have to do with Lance? He made his own decision. But you influenced him. You think you know better than anyone else, but that's not true. Just stop it. Lance had nothing to do with this. We were talking about you, hiding your past and not caring about your mission. You don't consider the mission a top priority because you don't know what it's like to lose everything. Juno fell silent. Yeah, Doggo, I don't know. But you become my family, and you're the only one I'm afraid of losing. And for some reason, you don't understand that. Juno cried again, her voice trembling, but before I had time to say anything to do anything, she just ran away. I was left standing there, next to the damn cactus. As the anger in my mind disappeared, I realized how wrong I was. Yeah, Juno didn't tell me about her past, and she didn't have a family or a home the way I did. But she still did so much to help me. If I wasn't for her, I would have just died. I would. Oh my god! This always gets right. He always brings this up. If it wasn't for her, I would have just died. This is like the 8th time this brought up, probably in the story. I never have been here. Guilt flooded my mind. On the one hand, I knew the mission was still important to me, and I wanted Juno to realize that. I understood her feelings and made me angry, resentful. For her, it was a part of the expedition. She was doing research. She was interested in all of this from a scientific point of view. Juno did not burn with thirst for revenge like it did. That was her strength. It did not burn her soul from the inside out as it did mine. I realized she was right about a lot of things. About my selfishness, about Lance. I left my family at a difficult moment and could not say goodbye to them when it was too late. Was I right? Well, only partially. If I hadn't fled, I would never encountered Juno. I wouldn't have experienced love, nor I would have experienced the virus in the explosion. Despite our meeting being born from tragedy, I believe there's a reason behind everything in my life. This echoes my mother's words, who has always said that everything happens is the best. At times, I might not seem so, especially when it feels like the worst is struck. Reflecting on this, I realized my mistake. Juno was more precious to me than anyone else. I had no one but her now. I felt a sudden wet stinging sensation swell in my eyes. My vision became blurry in bitter regret. Ooh, look at the cactus. I hastened towards the direction Juno had taken, laying on the locator. She wasn't far. Ahead, a cluster of tall cacti emerged and they were on a rock gently set, hugging her shoulders. A pang of guilt longingly struck my heart. I approached and sat beside her in the spacious rock. We shared the silence for a few moments and Juno started to slowly calm down. Her helmet lacked real tears and only displaying her animation, yet I could sense her pain mirroring mine. Juno. I sighed and placed my hand in her palm, gently squeezing her fingers in mine. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry I said all that crap to you. I didn't realize I can't devalue your feelings. I was just so angry at myself, at my uselessness, that I started to vent it all on you. It's really not your fault, Juno. I'm the one who's messed up. Why didn't you tell me you were having a hard time? I'm always ready to listen to you, Doggo. You know that. I sighed and smiled softly. I know, Juno, and I know you're always willing to help. I was stupid. I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean for it to turn into such a vicious fight. I'm sorry too. I should have realized how much it meant to you. But I'm so worried about you. I'm so afraid that something's gonna happen to you and I can't bear it. You always do everything you can to help me, Juno. I know that. And I always do the same for you. You already saved me once. I'm the one who didn't get to return the favor. Juno shook her head. Don't say that. You have no idea what you saved me from, Doggo. You saved me from loneliness, and I'll always be grateful to fate. The gods, the spirits, whoever did this, for meeting you. I smiled, putting my arm around her shoulder. You know I love you, right? And I always love you. Don't ever doubt that, okay? Now they're pulling her tighter against me. My bitter tears were being replaced with ones of relief. I wouldn't doubt it. And I love you too, Juno, more than anything. Even if sometimes I acted a complete idiot. Yeah, that happens to you sometimes. Hey! Juno and I both laughed, hugging each other, sitting on the rock, and forgetting the mission for a few minutes. If it hadn't been for a protective mask, I would have gladly kissed Juno. I forgot, we're still wearing the mask, the suit. If I hadn't been wearing the protective mask, I would gladly kiss Juno. Anywhere I could reach. Alright, let's go. We needed to disable the devices. And your cacti? Juno waved her hand. It's okay, don't worry. Besides, I already took them while I was sitting here. I smiled and nodded. Juno and I stood up, getting ready to head for our next target. But then Pixie's voice came through our communications. Juno, my sensors are picking up a spike in activity. I think there's something going on with these devices. Juno immediately frowned in concentration. What activity, Pixie? What is it? You gonna analyze its nature? I can't say for sure yet, but I can see certainly that this activity is coming from your devices. Be extremely careful. Judging by the indicators, they have shifted into an active phase. What? Active phase? There shouldn't be such a thing. They were just installed here yesterday. Yeah, I know. It's really weird and I don't like it at all. Come on, we gotta figure out what's going on. Let's get to the first device as soon as possible. Why did they suddenly go into active phase? Did something trigger them? Juno shrugged, heading towards the locator. Devices need time to accelerate. The previous devices were at the early stage of activity when we found them. That's why the activity radius was small. But now, where did they get the energy to accelerate so fast? It doesn't make any sense. Energy is taken from the planet itself and from living beings that inhabit it here. But there aren't even any animals or other powerful creatures inhabiting this world. Why is there so much energy here? We haven't encountered this before, and I don't like it. Let's be careful. We don't know where this could lead. Juno nodded. Yes, let's go. Juno, Doggo, be careful. Don't get too close to the devices. Right now, we don't know what the radiation radius is. Thanks, Pixie. We'll be in touch with you. Get in the jet. Get the jet ready just in case if something goes wrong. We need a quick evacuation. Understood, Doggo. After some running, we finally stopped, seeing now the familiar purple glow in the distance. They're still burning purple. Remember what I told you? Everything in the cave was red at the time? The devices were already in the high stage activity. Yeah, but I'm not 100% sure in some cases out here. But it immediately felt like a rush of weakness and someone had pressed the button. My legs gave out, and Juno, despite her armored strength, and felt it too. We fell to the ground in the dense sand, trying to catch our breath. What the hell was that? You feel it too? Yeah, the radiation device is so strong at a great distance, far greater than before. Just like Pixie warned us. What is the meaning of all this? Where does this power come from? I don't understand. We need to shut this thing down fast. You're right, we need to act as soon as possible. We sped out the hopper bot, but the bot moved briskly across the sand, heading toward the device, but the closer it got, the slower it got, until it finally stopped 10 meters from it. What happened to it? I don't know. Did it just turn off? Is that even possible? Juno frowned. Purely theoretical, of course it is possible, if the flow of energy is too strong. But what do we do then? We can't turn it off manually, the bots are our only chance. Should we try to send the other one? It will help, we only lose them. Then what do we do? Damn it, it just keeps getting worse and worse. Juno and I began to think what to do next, but nothing came to mind. Suddenly June's face expression changed, as if she finally thought of something. What? Juno shrugged. I don't know yet, but I think I have an idea. Juno summoned Pixie, who brought the ship closer to us, trying to stay at a safe distance away from so the jet wouldn't malfunction. Student went in and came with 12 devices. 3 from the first planet, and the other 9 from Ryler. What are we going to do with them? I have an idea, but I'm not sure how it will work. Remember I said the devices are interconnected? I think we might activate a few of them and place it near this one, and the energy accumulated from this device will be redirected to the other ones. So this way, if we distribute the energy among themselves, it might become weakened. Then we can deploy the bots to disconnect all the devices. That makes you think the energy will weaken? What makes you think the energy will be weakened? These devices are always positioned with a great distance between them. I think it's because they steal energy from each other if you place them in one spot. And because the devices need time to speed up, they don't enter a state of heightened activity immediately, so we have enough time to turn the other ones off. So if you absorb the energy from this device, the others will activate gradually. This powerful one will weaken, and the others will have time to heat up. And that time we disconnect them. Worst case scenario, this move would be 100% accelerate faster. I'm not 100% sure. So we either take a huge risk or we do nothing at all. Yep, but even if we risk it, we have enough time to get to the jet and fly away. I nodded, agreeing to the dangerous plan. Although I didn't understand everything, I sincerely hoped that Juno's plan would work and their theory would be proven correct. Juno took out 3 more devices and helped robots place them in significant distance from the main. About to activate the devices for a few seconds, Juno and I silently watched what was happening, and our hearts stopped as we waited in an explosion. But no explosion came. Pixie's voice came through our commissioners. Juno, my senses have detected that the device activity has decreased. Now it's slow enough to disconnect and the others. It worked, Juno, you're brilliant. Juno smiled but didn't rejoice. It's too early to celebrate our victory. Let's turn these off. With the help of Juno's bots, we managed to disable the first device and then the remaining ones. When that was done, I breathed a sigh of relief, even though we still had a few more devices left on the planet. Do you think this would be a problem with every device left? Juno shrugged. We'll know when we see them. We got to the jet and flew off to another part of the planet. Soon we approached another device. Pixie informed us about another burst of activity. Strange. What? It's like it senses us and becomes defensive as soon as we get close. But why did it work like that? They haven't done that before. Juno hummed thoughtfully. Do you think whoever's behind us that knows about us? My own words sent shivers down my spine. I suppose it could happen. We'd be lucky enough to not have been attacked by someone before. But what if they knew about us already? I don't know, but I've been thinking about this for a long time. If the devices are linked together and send energy to a certain point, there sure will be someone who receives that energy and knows that devices are gradually shutting down. Perhaps he realized that someone was following them and needed to suit the devices. I really don't want that to be true, but since the devices have started behaving this way, Juno nodded, setting the bots up to the pre-made pattern so that the old devices turn them on by directly the power into them, shut down the main one, and finally shut down the auxiliary ones. Let's hope he miscalculated and didn't expect us to come with this solution. But for the future, we need to be extremely careful with the next planet. Who knows what he might come up next. Do you think he could change the virus? Or something worse? I don't think so. A virus like this was obviously created painstakingly. It would take time to replace it with a new one. But yes, if someone changed the virus and infected us, we wouldn't have time to come with the new vaccine. Damn it. Don't worry, dog. We'll be fine. We'll figure it out as long as we go along. However, to search out the second and third devices, we went on forward. The last device in the fourth was located in the heart of the planet in the mountainous area. It was empty and quiet as the previous places we had visited. Shall we observe how it behaves and just turn it off? Juno shook her head. It's too risky. It's one to set up the hardware monitoring, but given all the events, better just shut it down and move to the next location on another planet. But there's nothing to affect here anyway. You're right, let's just get out of here fast. When Juno managed to disable the main devices, we folded up all the available ones and gave them to the bots, sending the devices to the jet. Once we were in the middle of the mountains, Juno and I took another look around. This planet brought up strange, unpleasant emotions. It seemed like it once lived like all the others, but had a lot of time had passed since then, and everything on it had simply died. We didn't know what secrets held, but it only made the anxiety grow stronger. The protective helmet on my face was starting to get uncomfortable. I wanted to get rid of it and get in the shower as soon as possible. Juno and I both seemed to covered head to toe in sand and dust. Even so, I was glad we managed to save from this planet destruction. We turned to go to the jet, but the moment Pixie's voice came through the communications. It was hard to make out what he was saying through the interference, but even the scrapes of words made us instantly tense. Doggo, Juno, what Pixie? I can't hear you. Oh. Everything went silent, and the communicator, reasoning with inference, turned off. Juno and I looked at each other, not knowing what it was. Pixie obviously wanted to warn us about something important. Why we had the connection cut out in the first place. What the? At the moment, goosebumps ran down my spine. The feeling was hard to describe. My whole body tensed. My hair stood in the end, alert for danger. Everything was screaming inside me just to run. Juno! Juno turned around and froze. I turned with her, and there was something standing where we left our jet. I didn't realize what it was first. It was something tall, big, wearing a long black hood. Of course it's a long black hood. Covering its face and body. My heart raced in my chest, my blood boiling in my veins. My legs began to tingle, and I wanted to run, get out of there as fast as I could. Oh, new character! Oh, purple man, purple guy, FNAF, oh my god. What an interesting meeting this turned out to be. His voice was very heavy, muffled, and clearly male. Oh god, she bought a shotty. You immediately grabbed her rifle, pointing it at the unknown man. Doggo, be careful. Try to run to the jet as soon as possible. I couldn't say a word, couldn't even move. It felt like his aura is huge, bro. He's not even moving at this point. It felt like I was glued to the ground. But even if I could move, I wouldn't run. We're gonna leave Juno alone. Holding the stranger at gunpoint, Juno shouted, "Who are you? What do you want?" Sheesh! The creature didn't move. It lifted its arms, pulled the hood off its head, giving us a view of its helmet. For a few moments, a surprised expression froze in Juno's helmet. Juno, is he just like you? A Protogen? Juno didn't answer, but she didn't need to. It was clear enough that the creature in front of us was a Protogen. To be honest, I did not expect you to be able to handle my devices on this planet. You surprised me. Okay, that's more of a robot voice. To be honest, I did not expect you to be able to handle my devices on this planet. You surprised me. Are you the one behind this? Answer me. Juno stepped forward, threateningly, still holding her rifle ready to shoot. I think you already figured that out, right? You're pretty smart. I'll give you credit for that. Why are you doing this? What do you want? The Protogen didn't answer, looking at Juno with a studying gaze. You did pretty well with your investigation, NV0903. I didn't think anyone would pay attention to my humble activities here, let alone interfere. Is that why you chose this? Is this why you chose this galaxy? So no one would investigate your atrocities? Atrocities? I wouldn't call it that. I just borrowed some energy from our universe. There's nothing atrocious about that. I just borrowed some energy from our universe. There's nothing atrocious about that. You destroyed entire planets. You killed life on them. You destroyed entire civilizations. So, what is it to you, Protogen? As if I should even address you as such. You're not even a Protogen. Oh my god, more dropping craziness. I frowned as I listened to their conversation. The angry determination on Juno's helmet was replaced by surprise for a second, but she pulled herself together in time. I will destroy you. You deserve to be punished for what you have done. With a roar, Juno rushed at him, firing her rifle at the Protogen, but the shots did not do any harm. To our surprise, they shattered against an invisible barrier, and the Protogen remained unharmed. Juno froze, but quickly pulled herself together, still holding the rifle in her sights. Doggle, leave, now! Get out of here! Sheesh! Dude, you got the sword and everything! Juno tossed her rifle aside and grabbed a self-drawing blade from behind her back. I think it was a weapon Xena mentioned when she gave Juno her armor. Juno activated with a belligerent cry. She rushed to attack him. The Protogen stood still and not even moving. He didn't even seem to care. Didn't even feel in danger. I froze, shocked as I watched the scene unfold. Oh shit. As Juno approached, the Protogen held out his hand. The whole place lit up with a flash of violet light. Juno was thrown far to the side. She slammed into the rock with such force that it shook and shattered, fragments of rock falling to the ground. My heart thudded in my chest. I was afraid to even move to the side. Afraid what if I blinked, Juno would disappear. I couldn't believe that right now this was happening. That we were coming face to face with the one behind the destruction of all those planets. The one who had destroyed my home, my family. I looked over to where Juno had fallen, praying that she would get up, that she would be okay. Juno! Juno, get up, please! Everything in my chest froze forward. For a moment, I thought it was over. My hands shook as I watched with wide eyes. When I turned my gaze to the Protogen, I saw that he was looking at me. Oh god, no. Oh! A human. A Protogen and a human. I've never seen anything like this before. Get out of here, you heard her. Go back to the jet. I'm not stopping you. My body refused to move an inch, swirling with red-hot hatred. I screamed, go to hell! The Protogen only grinned. He didn't care a bit about the drama unfolding around him. At that moment, I realized more than ever how useless I was. I couldn't even lunge at him, couldn't even hurt him, couldn't even kill him. Oh god! Soon, to my relief, the debris stirred, and Juno was back on her feet. She looked shattered, her armor scratched by shards of stone. Who are you? Who the hell are you? The Protogen hummed, a smirk reflected on his helmet. Actually... He looked at Juno again, studying her with his gaze. I wanted to ask you the same question, NV0903. You look just like a Protogen. You talk like a Protogen. You even move like a Protogen. Except, you are not one. Screw you. I am a Protogen. Just Juno grabbed her blade, clutching it in her hand. The unknown Protogen shook his head. Who are you trying to fool? This kid? I know what we, Protogens, are. And you? You're just a parody of my species. Oh my god. The inferior race. No implants, just useless organic flesh under useless armor. It's just ridiculous. Oh, she's an actual animal. We might have the same genes, but you are not a Protogen. You have nothing to do with our history. You are just a side experiment made by a trap. Die! Without waiting for any kind of response, Juno rushed at the Protogen with a different attack, and yet she failed to even get close enough to strike him. Oh! It's a single. Oh, I like this so much. It's a single flick of his hand. The Protogen threw her into a distant rock, the force of an impact causing a sonic boom to happen. Juno! Juno, no! The Protogen grinned upon hearing my voice. I'd get out of here if I were you, human. I won't give you a third chance. But I didn't run. I grabbed the rifle Juno had thrown to the ground and pointed at the Protogen. You destroyed my planet, you goddamn monster, and I swear I'll have my revenge on you. I'll wipe you out, you bastard. Me? Your planet? Alright. You can try to take revenge right now, but I doubt you succeed. I roared with anger and hatred and pulled the trigger, firing a burst of rifle rounds at the Protogen. But it had no effect. All the charges scattered against the same invisible barrier. With a wave of his hand, the Protogen knocked the rifle out of my hands, leaving me unarmed. Why are you doing this? What do you want? Tell me. He stared at me, as if studying me, his gaze sending shivers all over my body. I don't think you have time for this conversation right now. You have a rather interesting friend, but I'd hurry up if I were you. She doesn't have much time left. What? Save her. I'll let you get out of here. I won't finish her, and I won't destroy you. Let that be a lesson to you. I'll give you the question mark that you have collected. What? Alright, I'll go take them myself. Oh, jeez. From now on, keep your nose out of people's business. The Protogen turned around and blink of an eye, he was gone in a purple flash. My heart was beating so fast that it seemed like to be the only thing I could hear in my chest. Without thinking twice, I rushed to Juno's side. She was laying under the rubble, and I instantly began to remove the debris. My arms tired quickly. The rocks were quite large. I feared I had come to rescue too late. And Juno was still alive. Intruder alert! Intruder alert! Oh, I see. As soon as the Protogen was gone, the connection with Pixie was restored. Stop that. Let him take what he wants. Understood, Doggo. Turn off the alarm. Pull Juno out of the... Oh, he's taking all the devices? That's cringe. That's cringe, bro. I pulled Juno out from the debris. I struggled to rest her on top of me, dragging her toward the ship. Pixie, I need your help. Juno is seriously injured. I was whipped by some new unknown strength. My adrenaline must have played its part. I don't remember how I don't remember how I dragged Juno to the jet, or how I got her inside. Her armor was badly damaged, and blood was trickling from underneath down her body. God. No, Juno, no. Doggo, you need to follow my instructions. I'll help you treat her wounds. First, take off her armor. Found everything Pixie said. I carefully removed Juno's armor and then began treating her wounds with a special solution from the medbay. I was scared. It seemed that any awkward move I made would cost Juno her life. I could barely control my own hands. They were shaking. Everything was swimming in front of my eyes. Tears of stress, fear, and fatigue. Finally, Pixie announced that we could leave Juno to rest for the time being. We couldn't leave her, so I stayed with the sickbay, sitting next to her, holding her hand in mine. My head was still in a mess. I couldn't even bring myself to drink water, though my mouth was dry. Pixie reassured me in an unusual manner, telling me that Juno's vitals were normal and I could go rest. But could I rest while Juno was in such a state? The events that had unfolded on the planet were still replaying in my head. I still couldn't get rid of them. I couldn't block them. I couldn't block them out. I wanted them all to disappear from my head, but no. All the thoughts, all the images, all the pictures that were firmly embedded in my mind wanted to leave. Damn. Doggo, Jane will be fine. You need to shower and rest. For now, I left the ship orbiting planet SR. If she wants to set a route, just let me know. Miss Pixie, thank you. You're welcome, Doggo. My mind was such a mess right now. I could barely think straight, but I had to know what the son of a punk stole from us. Pixie, what did he steal from us? Did Shooter only steal the devices we have collected? Should I play the camera recordings? No, that's unnecessary. Despite Pixie's words, I didn't move, remaining seated next to Juno. Watching her chest rise and fall, she was still alive. Nothing else mattered right now. What mattered was that she was alive. I spent the next few days filled with a near-crippling sense of dread. Finding myself pacing between the sick bay and anywhere else I went on the ship. The ship was quiet, empty, and with only Pixie to keep me company from time to time, I had no desire to talk. I stopped going to the gym, for I realized there was no point. Whoever Juno and I met out there on the lifeless SR could not be defeated by mere physical force. The details of our encounter with the unknown Protogen replayed in my mind every day, every night. Again and again, I experienced a feeling of uselessness, powerless, and complete emptiness. Every night I went to bed with Juno, I had the same nightmare. Every night I went to bed without Juno, I had the same nightmare. That I didn't make it, and that the Protogen had killed her and there was nothing I could do. In my dreams, Juno has always died in different ways. It wasn't a single scenario. It was more like a horrific collapse, calling it death. Things that might have happened in the future. The next day I woke up with that horrifying scream echoing in my head. I shot right up in bed so quickly that I almost fell to the ground. The blanket crumbled and lying somewhere on the floor. The sheet, wet with sweat, had rolled down my legs. I sat there for a few moments, breathing heavily, trying to get myself under control. My heart was pounding in my throat, preventing me from swallowing the viscous saliva that had gathered in my mouth. Where am I? What am I doing here? Where's Juno? These questions were the first thing that I thought every time they flashed through my mind. They rushed through my mind like shooting stars, like comets leaving behind a faint cold light. The realization didn't come at me at once. The memories trickled in, slowly poisoning my whole body, and I regret waking up. I ran my hand over my face and wiped down the beads of sweat and moved my feet to the floor. There were muffled sounds over the ship. Pixie talking, the faint music I always asked to be turned on. After what happened, I always left something on the ship. I didn't know why, but the silence was much worse than the idiotic sound I was hearing for the 100th time. Maybe because the silence always gave me the feeling that I was alone. That there was no one else in the bunk with me. I was willing to do anything to drown out the silence. When Juno was well, we found companionship in each other. I realized that I was not alone. That I would never be alone. She was there. She was in the lab, in the bedroom, in the navigation bay. I knew where to find her, and I could talk to her, give her a hug, put my head on her shoulder. but for the past few days, while she had been recovering in the sick bay, I had been literally haunted by a panicked fever of being alone. I wasn't ready to face it. The thought that I might have lost her buried in my head with a throbbing, swelling sensation. What if the Protogen had chosen to kill her? What if he hadn't spared us? Only a whimper of subservience saved Juno and me from certain death. We could have been stuck there on that planet forever. We could have been part of that. Or we could have been split into atoms or blown to bits. There was nothing we could do to stop it. The worst part was, I couldn't stop it. That was torture. We had all years of preparation been for. What was the point of trying to catch the ghosts we were chasing, but always been one step behind? Doesn't make any sense. Now I feel like we wasted those years, just throwing them away. Maybe we hadn't been picked this fight in the first place. We should have just left. Live in the ship with Juno, erase what happened in our minds like a bad dream, forget and move on. I spent almost a week alone with my thoughts, from which nothing could save me. I sat in my chair in a navigational panel, laying in bed in the sleeping compartment. The ship hovered without Juno. Neither Pixie nor I knew where to go. We stayed in orbit around SR-0845. Our neighboring planets was visible from the ship's window, and every time I looked, I thought we could have been stranded there forever. We wouldn't have the strength to escape. We wouldn't have the strength to fly away. 2 weeks ago, Juno finally regained consciousness. 2 weeks later. She was still injured and walking without her armor, but I was happier than ever that she was okay. Seeing her awake, even with the bandages all over her body, was so much better than watching her in the infirmary. Are you okay? I turned back to Juno, hearing her voice. She was standing in the bay doorway. Her shoulders slumped a little, her hair more tangled than usual, and even her helmet reflected a tired expression on her face. I'm fine. What about you? Do you feel any pain? Any discomfort? Getting up from my seat, I helped her to a nearby chair, holding her gently under her elbow. Juno grinned, seeing my attempts to help. It's okay, Doggo, I can walk. I'm a little tired from recovery. I still need a little more time to fully recover, but I'll be fine. But what about you? Are you feeling okay? I sighed heavily, sitting down in the chair next to her. I don't know how to answer that question. The last 2 weeks have been a nightmare that ceased to end. I don't know. I'm okay, I guess. It's hard to explain. I can't stop thinking about what happened on the planet. I can't get it out of my head. Every time I close my eyes, every time I'm alone with myself, that's all I see. To think, we spent so many months on the road, all different places we visit. We tried to find a cause of the anomaly, we tried to defeat it, and what happened in the end? All of our efforts were just a waste of time. It was all for nothing. I never felt so helpless and useless as I did when I met that damn Protogen. To the side, I put in my confession. You shouldn't blame yourself for what happened, alright? You couldn't help me, Doggo. It was nobody's fault. Nobody but his. We could have known we were up against such a powerful foe. We had to assume it. We knew someone was absorbing energy. We knew there was an intelligent being behind all of it. We were too careless, and in the end, we can't stop thinking about the fact that we were only alive because this Protogen, allowed us to live. We're only alive because of his grace, and that only makes me sick to my stomach. For 2 years, I burned with my only desire to find out who did this, to my planet, to take revenge on him, and now what? I came face to face with him, and in the end, I turned out to be just a bug that could be crushed at anyone on the top of his foot. Don't say that, Doggo. There's no need to devalue what we did. We didn't give up. We pursued our goal, and yes, it was more difficult than we thought. It doesn't mean we wasted our time. Why? Isn't that what happened? We made no progress at all. It destroyed all the anomaly. We got the devices, but before we could figure it out, they worked. That Protogen or whatever it was, just took everything. Maybe I shouldn't have tried at all. Just let it go. Just fly away with this galaxy. You mean for nothing? What are you talking about, Doggo? Don't waste our time. We saved 2 planets, one of which was inhabited by intelligent beings. Intelligent beings with cultures, lives, beliefs, and feelings. They had families. They had plants. It wasn't all for nothing. On the universal scale, it doesn't mean anything. Neither do we ourselves. Just bugs who dream of defeating the beast. Bugs can do a lot if they know where to hit. I shook my head, leaning back in my chair with a sigh. Is there any point in trying? Look, Juno. We don't even know where to find him. If we do, he'll kill us for sure for the second time. Where do we even get that kind of power? It's like something straight out of a myth. Did you see what he managed to do? Not a single thing we touched him. Did you see what we managed to do? Not a single thing we did touched him. Didn't even break a sweat. He almost killed you. Compared to him, we are nothing. We're just helpless, pathetic. Stop it, Doggo. It wasn't all for nothing. We accomplished so much. We shouldn't have undo all because of our failure. I grinned bitterly. What? Come on, we talked about this. We're doing everything we can. And we won't stop because the problem turned out to be bigger than we thought. I know the conclusions from the experience we gained. Next time we'll be able to stand up to this Protogen. I don't even know what kind of power he used. He took all the devices, by the way, as you may have noticed. So we don't even have that. We're looking for a needle in a haystack, Juno. I know what the energy is. Remember, I said that every living thing has energy flowing inside of it? It's a very important and valuable resource. It is found in living beings, as well as in plant cells. It's in the core. Janie's got archaea. That sounds like a fruit. It's very difficult to control, but if you have enough strength and talent, you can learn to control it, and use it for your own purpose. Wait, so does that mean this creature, this Protogen, did he learn how to control the archive? Yes, that's right. I think that's why he's consuming planets. Having learned how to use it, he wanted more. Such tremendous power is twisted and corrupting. Doggo, not everyone can remain themselves after such immense power in their hands. I have only known a few who can learn to control it. It requires a long training, time, strength, energy. Why didn't you tell me that? Why you didn't tell me anything about it before? I don't know. I was hoping for the last minute we were dealing with someone else, something less serious. You said this powerful can be learned, right? Can you do that? Why don't you try to do it? Judith smiled weakly and shook her head in a naive question. It's not that easy, Doggo. Such tremendous power is not given for nothing. To learn it, you need to be a good teacher, and I certainly do not know how to do that. And I don't think I could do it even if I tried. Why do you think so? You're strong, both in body and spirit. I'm sure you try your best. June interrupted my words by placing her hand in my palm and squeezing her fingers around my own. It's too early to talk about that. Unless we find some other way out, you don't need to learn it. For now, let's just forget about it. I want to take my mind off what happened for a while. I immediately remembered Juno's condition and nodded guiltily. Of course, all you need right now is the rest. Juno nodded. My body's recovering fast, so I'll be fine very soon. But right now, I still feel like a freshly squeezed lemon. Sorry, Doggo. Don't apologize for something like that. You fought very bravely, Juno. Something I think is impossible to admire anyone. And then you surprised me over again. And a embarrassed smile appeared on Juno's helmet. Enough already. You're no slouch either, by the way. You try to fight back. That's a huge accomplishment, Doggo. But next time, I'll tell you to run. Please run. Promise me that if you're in a situation again, you listen to me and save yourself. Juno looked at me with hope in her eyes, but I couldn't give her the answer that she wanted to hear. I replayed what happened over and over in my head, and each time I realized that I would have never left. No matter what happened, no matter how terribly the danger was, I just couldn't run away. I didn't see the point of skipping on without Juno, because she was my home right now. She was the one I was fighting for, against my own dark thoughts, my own fears, my own complexities, my own insecurities. If Juno was gone, I simply wouldn't be to fight any further. So I shook my head, realizing I wasn't ready to lie. I'm sorry, Juno, but no. If we find ourselves in a situation and there's no way I'm leaving, I will stand with you until the end. If it means we face the end together, so be it. Doggo, no, Juno, please don't argue. I understand that you want to save me. I understand how important it is to you, but I just can't. I can't live alone without you. I never told you this, but the nightmares I have, I'm always alone in them. And yours always in danger. Or you just don't exist at all. That's the worst thing I have ever experienced in my life. Though before it, I have safe to say I've gathered a certain death to be fine without you. But I love you. I don't want to lose you. So squeeze my hand in hers even tighter. I love you too. That's why I want to live. That's why I want you to live, no matter what. I won't forgive myself if anything bad happened to you. I can't even imagine it. It scares the hell out of me. Then let's agree to do whatever it takes not to be without each other, okay? My faint smile appeared on my face. Juno nodded, moving closer to me to see our thighs press against each other. Yeah, I like that idea. I put my arms around Juno's shoulders, pulling her towards my chest and holding her gently. In that moment, I wanted to hold her in my arms and never let her go. The very thought of letting her go now frightened me. It made me sad and afraid. It felt warm and cozy next to her. and I wanted to prolong this moment as long as possible. To slow it down, to pause it. Life without Juno, even in my mind, seemed dreadful, icy, and meaningless, and no mission could give it any meaning. By the way, about that Protogen said, before he left, he said that you were special, and you're not like him. And I just... What did he mean by that? Juno sighed, moved slightly away from me to the side. So you remember that? Of course I did. I don't know what it means, and I won't be asking if it's a heavy topic for you. But if you're willing to share, I'm willing to listen, Juno. You can tell me anything, really. Juno was silent for a few moments, looking ahead through the ship's huge portholes. The planet that was our neighbor, or rather we were its guests, nestled in its orbit, was spinning slightly on its axis. Lifeless, empty, dangerous, but beautiful all the same. I felt like the question had triggered a wave of memories in Juno. I didn't want to reopen old wounds and hurt, but I knew I wanted to know the truth. Even if it was just a crumb of truth, just a small piece. The thing is, he was right. Remember when we met, I said I was a Protogen scientist? And I kept saying that, kept essentially lying to you? In fact, neither Xena nor I are Protogens? What? Why? I mean, you guys look so much alike. At least, you look like that Protogen. There was a genuine surprise in my voice. I thought Juno was a Protogen all along. I had no reason to think otherwise, and besides, I'd never seen any other Protogens except Xena, and didn't know what important difference there were between them and Juno. Just because I look similar doesn't mean I'm one of them. Juno smiled sadly, and turned her head away from me. But what's the difference? Why aren't you a Protogen? I am, you might say, only similar to a Protogen, just as he said. There are no implants in me. My body is literally fluid organic except the visor. I have organs that Protogens don't have because they don't need them. Oof. My visor and genetic code are the only similar things I have to them. My past, my history, it's very different from what happened to real Protogens. But you said... I know, Dougal. I know what I said. And I lied to you for so long, lied to myself, that I believed myself to be a Protogen. I can't tell you anything about my childhood for now. It's not something I'm ready to discuss yet, but I can tell you one thing about my past. My siblings and I were outcasts on Esmir 4E1, the Protogen planet. No one knew where we came from. No one explained to us why we were different. But remember when you said I didn't understand how you felt because my planet was fine? You were right, but not in the way you thought. I can't understand you because I never considered my home planet to be my home. All I saw was hatred, neglect, and indifference. I thought outwardly we looked like them, even genetically identical. We are not part of their species. We were outcasts who had always lived with the realization that we are different. Real Protogens never saw us as part of their culture because of our differences. Racism. They believe there is a strict criteria at the Protogen that is not, and they refused to accept us Protogens as soon as they found out that we were organic. But we were not part of the Project Ark. I don't understand what Project Ark was, but I decided not to interrupt her. As soon as I had the chance, I left the planet. I started exploring space like the Protogens did, trying to prove that I could do the same thing. Damn. I realized how stupid it was to keep all of this from you. You have nothing to do with the Protogens after all. But I couldn't get over myself. I wanted that secret to stay with me. I even liked that you thought I was a Protogen. I looked at Juno sympathetically, gripping her hand more tightly in mine. Her story filled my heart with longing, pain, and resentment. How dare anyone hurt Juno? I'm sorry, Juno. I'm really, really sorry that this happened to you. It's okay. I can deal with it. It still stays with your life,